Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to start second IFC International Food Fortification Forum. My name is Katerina Onul, and I'm a policy lead at IFC Global Agribusiness Advisory. And today, together with my colleague Nandini Chowdhury, a project manager from GAIN, we will be guiding you through the Food Fortification Forum. Before I hand over to Nandini, I would like to share a few words about IFC. IFC, or International Finance Corporation. It is a part of the World Bank Group, and it is the largest global development institution that is focused on private sector in developing markets. By encouraging growth, IFC advances years, we have leveraged the power of global good and experience to transform ideas into investments for green growth, for inclusive jobs, for impactful projects in different areas. And of course, we have a broad agribusiness agenda, and we do support the enhancement and strengthening of national food system, and of course, we promote large-scale food fortification. Just in a few minutes, my colleagues will focus more on the goal. And now I would like to invite Nandini to speak about GAIN, our partnering organization at this forum, and also to share why for GAIN it is so important to work on food fortification.
Thank you, Katrina. Good morning, everyone. I'm Nandini Chowdhury, Project Manager Digitalization from Global Alliance for Improved Nutrition. Dear guests, we are very glad to have your presence today. Very briefly, I would like to take you through Global Alliance for Improved Nutrition, that is GAIN's work in food fortification. In GAIN, our vision is healthier diets for all, especially for the most vulnerable from more sustainable food systems. And we aim to contribute to improve the consumption of healthier diets for all, especially for the most vulnerable, by improving the availability, affordability, desirability, and sustainability of nutritious and safe foods, and reducing the consumption of unhealthy and unsafe foods. In middle income countries like Bangladesh, also in lower income countries, large scale food fortification is a feasible and preventive intervention to alleviate malnutrition and micronutrient deficiencies, especially for the most vulnerable, which implies imperatively food fortification is a safe and sustainable nutrition security program. It's been more than a decade GAIN Bangladesh has been contributing in large-scale food fortification program, partnering the government ministries, departments, regulatory agencies, and private sector. We contribute by providing technical support and training for improving fortification quality and ensuring a level playing field for the businesses. We support governments to establish and strengthen LSFF programs. We coordinate multi-sectoral efforts to improve LSFF monitoring and enforcement. And very lately, to keep pace with technology and innovation, we have been developing and sharing digital tools to streamline LSFF data collection and analysis by the private and public sector. During the keynote address, different panel discussions, and also presentations, today you will hear more about the progress and prospect of large-scale food fortification program in Bangladesh.
Thank you very much for such a nice presentation of GAIN agenda on food fortification. And now, before starting the official part of the forum, I would like to make a few announcements about housekeeping details. So in order to get information about the program, speakers, and participants of this forum, you need to download an app. And here on the slide, you see a QR code. Please just scan this QR code, and then you will be linked to the app. Use this app because there you will have the latest information about the forum. In case if you need Wi-Fi connection, Please choose Wi-Fi network, Marriott Bonvoy. There is no need in password. Just use the network without any password. And also, it is important to know for all of you that we are here. We are in this room without breaks until 12:30. And now it's time to start the official opening of Food Fortification Forum. For this, I'm delighted to invite Natia Mgeladze, who is a global lead at IFC Food Safety, Food Fortification, and Food Loss Prevention Advisory. Natia is with IFC since 2010. She holds a PhD in medicine, and she has an experience of more than 20 years of collaborating with international food industry and with agricultural companies in helping them in implementation of food safety management system. A leading auditor in BRC and also FSC 22000. I think that for those who are in food safety know what does it mean. And she is also certified international food safety trainer. Nadia, over to you.
Okay, good. Thank you. Hello, everyone. So good morning. I know that some of our colleagues are also connected virtually, and good afternoon, good evening, where you are. It's a really pleasure being here and seeing the mostly full audience with the people interested to hear more on fortification. So I am, as Katya mentioned, the Natia Mgeladze, leading global food safety, food loss prevention, and food fortification advisory platform at IFC. And it's my really honor being the person who opening this event. Thanks for participants. Thank you, speakers, to being with us. We have donors represents here, and thank Japan government and Gates Foundation firstly supporting this event and being with us here. Thank you, IFC colleagues who are supporting this event. And I hope that we have like interesting discussions and interesting insights about the topics. So we all know that this event is done with a collaboration with GAIN, and we have here the GAIN team represents like Bangladesh GAIN organization here, and hopefully in the next part of the discussions we will also have the GAIN representation, global representation connected virtually. We are, thank you. So we are here all to address the critical issue that affects millions of people, which is malnutrition. And mostly we will talk of the micronutrient deficiency, which you know that undermine the health, human capital, children development, like it's costs economy billions in lost productivity and healthcare expenses. So food fortification, as we all know, is a proven method, efficiently and effective solution to address macronutrient deficiency. It is critical to also to increasing the availability and affordability of food, and it's a smart investment for advancing health and economic prosperity. Through this forum's discussions, our goal is to also explore sustainability solutions and for the food fortification and to combat malnutrition and micronutrient deficiency. Bangladesh, with a population around 174 billion people, has worked toward the improving the health and education in the recent years. But yet even micronutrient deficiency continues to impact children, impact also like mothers across the country. Despite the improvement in agriculture and agricultural performance, poverty and lack of the purchasing power continue to impede food security, leading to many malnutrition. The government and various different organizations have made efforts to address these issues, such as vitamin A distribution. There was project in iodine injection. There are programs about the iron supplementation, and this is all different type of solutions what has been developed. But a comprehensive national strategy still is lacking in Bangladesh. For instance, micronutrient deficiencies such as like vitamin A deficiency have been a significant public health issue problem in Bangladesh last several years. The government has initiated the very successful vitamin A supplementation program here in the country, targeting the children aged 5 to 56 months and achieve high coverage rates. However, even in this case, there are still gaps and disparities across the different like socioeconomic groups in Bangladesh. Within the nutritional situation in the country, it is important to also point out that gender inequity also persists and affecting women and children mostly. Women in primary caregivers and face unique challenges that impact their nutritional status and that of their families. So social cultural norms, economic constraints in the country, and limited access to education, sometimes and most often also on the healthcare, strengthening these challenges as well. IFC is a truly valued partner in this direction, which is like support of industries, support of agribusinesses, support of private sector. So we really hope that we can work together and we can transport like agribusiness companies or your companies, private sector representatives are here to deliver a healthier and more nutritious food. And we really believe that if we can transform your companies, then we can transform a community. And with the transformed community, we can also change the world for good. Through IFC performance-based grant food fortification advisory project, which launched in February 2024 this year, we also promote like food fortification among the agribusiness companies worldwide and not only in Bangladesh. And of course, we are promoting the large-scale food fortification. We mostly also support our investment clients or upstream advisory clients with fortification advisory, supporting them to understand better the techniques and give them guidance and awareness about this topic. The success of our intervention depends on collaboration between the different international organizations, between the government, private sector, and we believe that without the collaboration, nothing can happen. I encourage all of you in this room to be engaged in the discussions. Please also ask questions, have a possibility to connect on the breakout sessions or whenever lunchtime will be. We will also end this event with the networking discussions. So please use this opportunity to discuss and let's find together the solutions to improve the nutrition in Bangladesh and support the nation. In closing, I would like to extend to our partner the GAIN and to our donor organizations. We have Japan government of representative of the government of Japan from the embassy, and also Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation for the support. And once again, thank you everyone to be here to attend this forum. And I hope that we can interact so that we could help Bangladesh and not only the country, but in general in the world. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Natia Megaladze, Global Lead, Food Safety, Food Loss Prevention, Food Fortification Advisory, to share the objective and context of today's forum. And thank you for highlighting the critical issues of micronutrient deficiency, how we can combat malnutrition and micronutrient deficiency, importance of food fortification, the need for sustainability solution and national strategies, of course, and of course, the cross-cutting themes that includes gender inclusivity. Thank you, Natia, again. Dear guests, now for the welcome remarks, I would like to request first from the management team of IFC, Mr. Martin Holtman, IFC Country Manager, Bangladesh, Bhutan, and Nepal. Mr. Holtman was the Global Sector Manager for Financial Inclusion, MSME Finance, and Digital Finance in IFC's Financial Institutions Group. In addition, he coordinated FIG's advisory services as Global Manager. And second, from the management team of Global Alliance for Improved Nutrition, Dr. Rudaba Khandokar, our very own Rudaba Appa, Country Director in Bangladesh. Dr. Khandokar has more than 20 years of experience working in leadership and advisory roles in humanitarian, post-conflict, and development contexts in Africa, Asia, and the Pacific. I welcome you both on the stage.
Together or
No,
here?
you do
Okay.
first.
All right, okay. Good morning, everyone. Shubho Shakal. I want to greet Mr. Shinyu Karasawa, the Head of Economic Cooperation from the Embassy of Japan here. Very happy to have you here and very grateful. Many guests and partners, and like the previous speakers, want to thank GAIN and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation for their support and cooperation in this very important space. By the way, I always think that no other country has a flag that matches our Bangladesh flag as well as Japan, right? It's just a perfect combination. You see it there, right? The Japanese flag. So a perfect match. And it goes without saying that Japan has been one of the longest running development partners of Bangladesh for decades. So thank you so much. I'm a resident of Dhaka. I've been here for 3 years. And when I first even considered moving to Bangladesh, I called an old friend of mine. He's British. And I knew he had worked in Bangladesh for decades. And he's married to a Bangladeshi. And he said, "You'll love the food. Best thing, one of the best things about Bangladesh is the people and the food." So I'm happy to report that has been very true. Food is amazing here. I love the fish, the curries, the biryani, so many things that are just perfect in this country, okay? And the food is certainly one of them. We have a very strong food culture and including very regional food culture. Food is very different from Sylhet to Chattogram, for instance. We have made huge progress on food security. We are in the subcontinent that started the Green Revolution. At least when I was a development student decades ago, that was one case study that we studied how this subcontinent had produced this massive increase in food production per hectare and in productivity and so forth. And we had almost eradicated hunger and the fact that people were dying because they couldn't get enough food. But we've now moved to a space where while we have mostly food security, we still don't have nutrition security. And my colleague Natia just talked about that. And that is, of course, the subject of this conference here and why we're all here. So I'm very happy that we're engaged in that discussion. There are still some stark numbers. We know that this is maybe a slightly different topic, but Bangladesh is now right up there in the league of nations that waste at least 10% of their food, which just goes to waste, never gets to the consumer. Worldwide, that's in the range of 10 to 20%. Almost any country you look at it, and we waste, as humanity, we waste a big chunk of the food that we actually produce. Here in Bangladesh, at least 1 out of 3 children, about 30%, have zinc deficiencies. We have a huge incidence of vitamin D deficiency, and it's prevalent, especially in women, at a level of an astounding and scary 70%. We also have deficiencies in iodine, folate, and iron. And so these are real hurdles that we have to overcome because they have a huge impact on our development as human beings, especially at the child level. So this is not only important, but really urgent. The government has been working on this for a long time. Actually, for those here in this room who represent government, I want to commend you for all the efforts that have been made and the progress that has been made. We have the National Strategy on Prevention and Control of Micronutrient Deficiencies, for instance. And we have a lot of room where we still need to improve. And that's why this conference has brought together many representatives from the private sector, because without strong private sector involvement, private sector R&D and private sector investments, we're not going to get there. So this is what this is about. There are two interventions in human development that really make the biggest difference in terms of what they call bang for the buck. And one is nutrition improvement, and the other one is girls' education. So I think we're doing well in both areas, but we've got a long way to go. Just 2 words on IFC here. So we do a lot of advisory work. Right now we have 45 advisory programs across all sectors. This is one of them. Mostly we do investments. We have invested since we started here. We've invested $8 billion US. Last year we invested $1 billion in this economy. I'm happy to report that we continue to invest. In fact, in the last 2 months alone, we've invested about $200 million out of our pipeline, and we've committed. In fact, we're signing a big commitment just tomorrow. So I just want to leave you with the sense that IFC is here as a development partner and also as an investor, including in the food and agri-processing space. That's about all I want to leave you with. Nadia talked about the networking, and I just want to say, I go to so many conferences. Usually what sticks in my memory the most is the people that I met. And it may just be 1 or 2 people that I met, even over a cup of coffee or something. I bumped into them, and then that turns into a really fruitful relationship in the sense of somebody who can help me with some technical advice or making connections if I want to move to another country and invest there. So I really invite you to spend that time that you have for networking. You will not regret it. Thank you so much. Enjoy the conference.
Good morning. Assalamu alaikum. Distinguished learned participants, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we are really grateful, and we are grateful to IFC for joining, including us and our collective efforts with the public, private, and the business sector to make this big event possible. But moreover, your youth are here as well. So in Bangladesh, what we like to do is that we like to see people, prosperity, including planet. So if you talk about people, planet, and prosperity, we need to nourish the people from feeding the people. So though the feeding the people is a struggle, we are going to look at nourishing the people. And in order to nourishing the people, as Martin said, that I'm not going to repeat the statistics or different data, but one of the areas very important that Bangladesh has got undernutrition, overnutrition, and micronutrient, vitamin and mineral deficiencies, and it's very high. So if we look at the productivity, what we're talking about, Bangladesh to prosper, we need to invest in to tackle the micronutrient malnutrition, and that's why fortification is one of the cost-effective vehicle. We say that $1 return in nutrition gives $24 to $26 of investment gives return. Whereas in fortification, it can go up to $42 if you invest $1, starting from 27. So this is our way to work together. But how we're going to work? We join hands. Our businesses, from production to consumption, after consumption, if you look at the planet, we don't waste, as Martin has rightly said, and Nadia. It is important that businesses are integral part of our thinking, co-creation, investment, and also developing new product solution, which is safe and nutritious. If food is not safe, it's not food. The second element I like to highlight here is that very much we know Dr. Ashok Mahfouz after that with the keynote will present some of the data, so I'm not going to get there. It is very important to understand that nutrition is a key driver. And nutrition is a key driver not only for productivity or prosperity, it's a key driver for us to being healthy, safe, and contribute to the economy which actually gives us GDPs, but also gives us strength to build the nation. And in this, with the current, movement we have seen, the power of youth is very important. So we are very happy to see that business leaders, public sector, and the youth are all present along with the academy in this room together. So applaud to IFC and our partners and all the partners, WFP, NI, UNICEF, all together, WHO, and we are bringing others together. Third, environment and women. Gender and environment are critical. If we want to take care of your planet, we need to think of solution that also uplifts our planetary health, not only our health. So I think from that perspective, it is very important that this fortification convening that we are doing today collectively with IFC, it is important that we share the opportunities. We think of the challenges, but we are the ones that can bring collective solutions. So with these few words, I'd like to welcome you all and really our gratitude to all for to participate. And as the day goes, we'll come up with a lot of solutions and we'll learn and we'll reflect and we'll pause and we'll connect together again. Thank you very much.
Dr. Hondecker, Mr. Holtman, thank you very much for your welcome remarks. You and Natia have done an excellent job explaining how we came to the title of this forum, Better Life, Better Business, and Brighter Future, and of course, why we are here in Bangladesh. First of all, according to Martin, and I can't agree but more, that it is because of delicious food in Bangladesh, but of course, it is also about understanding what kind of solutions are to be implemented in Bangladesh, how we need to work together in order to combat micronutrient deficiency. And now let me invite to the stage our honorable guest, Mr. Shinichi Karasawa, Head of Economic Cooperation and First Secretary from the Embassy of Japan. Please, Mr. Karasawa, take your place on the stage. And we will have Mr. Aditya Jagati, Senior Program Officer, Nutrition, Global Growth and Opportunity from Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, who will join us virtually. So let's start the panel, let's start the discussion. In this session, our distinguished panelists will share about initiatives, about experience and the impact of food fortification program in improving public health outcomes.
Good morning, distinguished guests, participants. On behalf of Embassy of Japan, I would like to welcome you in Dhaka for the IFC's second International Food Fortification Forum. I would like to extend our gratitude to the IFC and GAIN for organizing this event. According to the report of the state of the food security and nutrition in the world, it is estimated that last year over 700 million people, or about 9% of the global population, have faced hunger. By region, Africa remains to be the largest proportion of the population facing hunger. That is about 20%, and 6% in Latin America and the Caribbean, 7% in Oceania, and 8% in Asia. And Asia is a home to more than half of those all facing hunger in the world. So while this food fortification forum, first food fortification forum was held in Ho Chi Minh City last March, Asia is relevant enough to be the venue for this important forum where the key stakeholders gather together. And your presence here emphasizes the importance of the issue and our collective commitment to enhancing the nutritional status of the population worldwide. In order to respond to the global food crisis, Japan has been working on the food security issue as a priority issue. We are actively engaging supporting economic development and international stability of the developing countries through the multilateral institutions such as IFC, and also the bilateral official development assistance. In the context of Bangladesh, our undertaking of assistance are diverse. The project include providing loans to the private sector working on the food value chain, ensuring effective and safe utilization of water, promoting world market-oriented agriculture, and increase nutrition value and safety in producing life, and also introducing agriculture adaptive to the climate change. By offering these various cooperation and technical assistance, we are contributing to the strengthening food value chain, increasing productivity, diversifying agriculture, ensuring food safety, and adding high value to the products. Today's forum encompasses a variety of topics to address nutritional challenges. So in closing, I would like to commend your continuous effort in promoting various food fortification initiatives. I hope this forum will be valuable opportunity to share the experience, learn the lesson from each other, and very hopefully have an inspiration to meet its theme, better life, better business, and brighter future. Thank you very much.
Mr. Karasawa, thank you very much. And now it's time to invite Mr. Aditya Jagati, Senior Program Officer, Nutrition, Global Growth and Opportunity.
Great. Good morning, everybody. For those who I haven't had the pleasure of meeting, my name is Aditya Jagati. I'm a Senior Program Officer in the Nutrition Division of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. I'm extremely glad to be here as we continue to chart the way forward together, even though unfortunately I couldn't join in person in Dhaka today with you guys. This gathering is very pertinent as we continue to face many challenges in global nutrition, including the unprecedented levels of hunger and malnutrition. I do not really need to reiterate that, today over 3 billion people worldwide suffer from at least one micronutrient deficiency, including 1 in 2 preschool age children and 2 in 3 women of reproductive age. With the exception of recent gains on breastfeeding rates, we are not, unfortunately, on track to achieve any of the SDG 2 nutrition targets. And the ongoing geopolitical conflicts, still lingering COVID-19 pandemic, and the worsening impact of climate change are threatening future progress. By the end of this decade, climate shocks alone could drive 132 million people into poverty, and by 2050, the risk of hunger and malnutrition could rise by 20%. Micronutrient deficiencies have serious long-term impacts on the health and well-being of individuals, communities, and entire economies. And malnutrition alone can cause 1 in 5 maternal deaths and more than half of the children deaths under age 5. Well, these figures only grow as we continue to contend with overlapping crises of conflict, climate catastrophe, and public health threats. The global community is quickly adapting, and that's great news, to these issues and finding opportunities to keep the world healthy and nourished in the face of these obstacles. Governments, donors, program implementers, civil society, and the private sector, all of you are here, must urgently work together to double down on the most powerful tools to fight this critical public health crisis of micronutrient malnutrition. Well, at the Gates Foundation, we are taking an integrated approach across different teams and strategies to address the persistent and complex problems that lead to malnutrition. We are very laser focused on making significant progress towards global nutrition targets. And for that, we collaborate with a range of partners across sectors to create effective institutions, build an enabling ecosystem, and prioritize the highest impact solutions that are ready to scale. Thanks to its unique combination of scalability, sustainability, and cost effectiveness, large scale food fortification is one of those tools, and the Gates Foundation is going all in. Our food fortification strategy spans from innovation to impact and focuses on 5 interrelated strategy areas that help address key fortification challenges across the ecosystem. This spans across data, product innovations, private sector partnerships, strengthening regulations, and improving quality assurance and quality control. While we are excited about the potential for impact with our strategy, the fortification agenda is too large for one single institution to take alone. We need collaboration and partnership across all constituent groups. That's why we work in tandem with a range of partners like yourselves, multilaterals, NGOs, private sector, to achieve the impact that we seek. We continue to prioritize and invest in food fortification because while micronutrient deficiencies are a consequence of a changing climate, they also represent a critical opportunity to adapt and build resilience. When everyone has access to a baseline of essential vitamins and minerals, well being improves and societies become stronger, especially at the time of crisis. To that end, we are encouraged by significant political momentum and new opportunities we are seeing from global to regional levels to elevate and prioritize micronutrient malnutrition. For example, we welcomed Brazil's leadership in their recent launch of the Global Alliance Against Hunger and Poverty as part of their presidency of the G20. Last May, around this time, the World Health Assembly adopted a pivotal resolution to fight micronutrient deficiencies by strengthening food fortification programs worldwide. Additionally, we are pleased to see that large-scale food fortification was integrated into the 2030 ECOWAS Human Capital Development Strategy, furthering signaling high-impact political support in West Africa. Today in this country, in Bangladesh, similar efforts at the country level have been extremely commendable. Bangladesh's ban on loose oil paves the path for a more sustainable oil fortification agenda, for instance. With this context, I believe we are very well positioned to unleash both market and social impact. Going forward, I would like all of us to push further to also consider how we can translate the availability and access of fortified foods that we can now track into consumption. This is the catalytic role that people like us at the Gates Foundation can offer, as it's our role to ensure that we reach those who are in need of good nutrition. For that, I would like to have greater clarity on the through line from production to measurable public health nutrition impact. There's definitely very clear momentum for furthering large-scale food fortification. Now it's on us to do our part to drive impact at every country level. The fortification agenda cannot succeed without strong leadership and follow through from the private sector, globally, regionally, locally, and across the entire value chain. The people in this room today and the organizations they represent are uniquely suited to play a catalytic role with other private sector actors, and especially with local food processors. We cannot realize the full market potential of food fortification without the millers. And we need you and your organizations to bring your expertise to the table. From the agenda, I see that we have a very specific and focused discussions today, ranging from gender to nutrition to impact, and I'm extremely excited to engage. Among these items, I want to make sure that we get a chance to reflect and discuss the challenges or the barriers your organizations are encountering in making effective use of the partnerships to drive progress locally, how we can really collaborate and support you in this endeavor, and how we can hold each and everyone and ourselves accountable to ensure the success of our efforts. It's critically important that these dialogues translate to concrete impact at the country level, and I look forward to working with you to making this a reality. Thank you.
Jabi, Senior Program Officer, Nutrition, Global Growth and Opportunity from Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Thank you for your cooperation and assistances to contribute to improve the food value chain. And thank you for reinforcing the continuous effort for food fortification initiative. And Aditya, thanks a lot to talk about the integrated and multilateral approach and sharing the progress and learnings of Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Dear guests, it's been more than 3 decades in Bangladesh. The government, private sector, development partners, and donors have been working on improving the nutrition status through different initiatives and interventions. Nonetheless, supporting large-scale food fortifications inclusion as a key component of national nutrition and food system strategies is one of the key priorities in recent times as a safe and sustainable nutrition security program. As a steadfast and deterrent intervention to reduce malnutrition and micronutrient deficiency, especially for the most vulnerable, contribution of LSFF programs are promising. Now, for the keynote address of Bangladesh on Bangladesh nutrition status, actions forward, I would like to request Dr. Ashik Mahfouz, Portfolio Lead, Large Scale Food Fortification and Value Chain, Global Alliance for Improved Nutrition, to come on the stage. Dr. Mahfouz is a professional food technologist and is experienced in food fortification processing and human nutrition by education.
Dear guests, participants, audience members, representative from the business. Very good morning and greetings from the Global Alliance for Improved Nutrition. My name is Ashik Mahfouz. I am the portfolio lead for the large scale food fortification and value chain program for the GAIN. So that my presentation, I would like to thank the organizers for giving me the opportunity to talk about the nutritional status and food fortification in the country. Food fortification is my favorite subject. I'm working in this area for the last 20 years. So it is an opportunity. Thanks for that. My presentation is a very general type, not technical, because the people sitting here, not everyone is not technical person. So, and you know that our country director she mentioned that Global Alliance for Improved Nutrition. We have started our journey in 2002 in the UNGA, United Nations General Assembly, with a mission to improve the consumption of healthier diets for all most vulnerable by improving the availability, affordability, and desirability of healthy diets. And at the same time, we work for reducing the use of unsafe and unhealthy foods. Saying so, that is, I would say I will share some information about the nutrition status. We are in the process of we are in the process of graduating from LDC to developing country by 2026. We had a good breakfast in the morning. We know that everything is good. Bangladesh has done tremendous in the nutrition area, but still we have to do a lot of things. If we share the figure, you will not be that much happy. 31%, 32% people faces acute food insecurity still today. And 48% people, around 120 million people cannot afford healthy diets. And 1 out of 5 adults are not consuming the all five recommended food groups as recommended by dietary diversity guideline. And if you come to the nutrition status, 1 out of 4 children are stunted. You know, stunted, the short compared to age. So as stunted, it has happened within 1,000 days of their birth, from the pregnancy to birth. So if we cannot address the stunting, so we will not be able to get productive people in the country. And 9.3% children are wasted. and women are suffering anemia, 1 in 3. And this micronutrient deficiency actually affects physical, cognitive, mental health, including lack of immunity and loss of productivity. So these figures are not that shiny or bright to that. This is not only that our country is the only suffering. The most high income countries, their pictures are not that bright or shiny. They're same. So the Lancet Global Health that actually in 23 to 29 report shows that around deficiency, prevalence of micronutrient deficiency, one or more, or 1 or 3 core micronutrient deficiency is very high. You can see in the figure that for the non-pregnant, non-lactating women, that core micronutrient mainly are iron, zinc, and folic acid. In underfed children, it is iron, zinc, and vitamin A. So you can see that high-income countries, they are also 45% under 5 children are are suffering with 1 or 3 or 1 or 2 up to 3 micronutrient in the country. And our South Asia, that is, it is also 57 and 74%. It is it is just close to the sub-Saharan Africa. So there is a lot. There is not only that Bangladesh is suffering, all the global is suffering. So this actually and another figure that I want to share: 9 in 10 women in several South Asia and sub-Saharan countries have at least one micronutrient deficiency. And what happened? And micronutrient malnutrition actually cost a nation around $3 trillion per year, and in the form of lost productivity, slowed economic growth, and it can reduce the GDP to 3 to 16%. So it's a huge burden. So now I'm coming to that Bangladesh status again. That is, you know that SDG, we have to achieve the target by 2030. So if you see the target of the stunting, wasting, underweight, we are far behind. So our target in the stunting to reach 15% at the moment in the 2002 BDHS survey showed that we achieved only 24%. And wasting, it is, we have to target 55%. Now we have, it is now 11%. So there is a lot of things to do. And just specifically micronutrient deficiency, this is data is we have picked up from that 11, 12, and 1920 comparing. So our micronutrient deficiency, it is better. So but still we have the problem in zinc, iodine, and anemia for under five children. And for the women, it is mainly vitamin D, iodine, and folate, and also vitamin A. So folate, you know that folate deficiency worldwide, not in the developing countries, in the European countries, folate deficiency is very high. You know that in 76th World Health Assembly, our then Honorable Minister, Health Minister, he signed the resolution that Bangladesh will adopt that that is folate fortification through to address the birth defect. So GAIN and other partners are working on this to introduce flower fortification with folate. Now, to address this deficiency, what are the areas? I will keep eyes on Nandini because she warned me that I should not cross the allocated time. Nandini, please raise your hand when it's done. So just to address this malnutrition and micronutrient deficiency, there are several options that we can follow. One and foremost important is the dietary diversification, the diet quality and safety. This is very important. But you know that only dietary diversification or food cannot give us the full nutrition or micronutrient that we need. You see that some people knows that we can get iodine from the fresh vegetables, but our soil is not. Our soil is the disease. We call it disease of the soil. In our soil, there is no iodine. So our fruits, vegetables, or anything in food that we eat, we will not get iodine from natural source. That needs supplementation or food fortification. So these are the actually main way to strategy to address the micronutrient deficiency. What is food fortification? You know, yes, I think I don't need to share that what is the definition of food fortification. In simple, it is adding micronutrient to a staple foods. That's the food fortification to address a specific deficiency. And our country director, she mentioned that is a very proven, cost effective, and it is in practice for many years in the country. I will show you the figures when it started in the world. So normally we in Bangladesh, we are mainly staples and condiments are used for food fortification. There is edible oil, rice, flour, salt, milk. So these are the normal staples we can consider for food fortification. And normally our vitamins and minerals, vitamin A, D, different B vitamins, folic acid, B vitamins, and minerals, particularly iron, zinc, and iodine can be fortified with different staples. So this is very cost effective, as I have mentioned. If $1 investment give you return of $27 in terms of averting diseases, the productivity improvement, and thus it is actually an investment for the future for the population. And fortification doesn't change any color, taste, anything. So it can be introduced at any time in any population, food fortification. So it is not that is new things that we are approaching, we are sharing. These 145 countries in the world have fortification program, 1 or 2 or 3. This data is actually we have taken from GFDX. This is a global database which you can browse from your laptop, computer. You can see the data from different countries. So this is the more greener is the more number of fortificant they are using. So it is there. And as I've said, that fortification is not a new things. So in our country, this oldest fortification is salt that we are doing from 1990 in the country. But it started in 1920 in Switzerland. You know that it caused goiter. So in that time, 1920, around 100% children have the goiter. So in 1949, Canada is the first country who introduced salt fortification. Now around 109 countries mandated salt fortification. And oil fortification, you know, our Pakistan, they've started first mandatory legislation for edible oil fortification in 1965. Now 20 countries have that fortification. In our country, we have started in 2013. This is only one micronutrient we are at the moment we are using, that is vitamin A. But the government and refineries, they have taken decision to introduce vitamin D along with vitamin A, considering the high prevalence of vitamin D. Around 70% population is vitamin D deficient. And rice fortification, WP and I, they are very much working in rice fortification in the country. But in 1952, it started in Philippines. So now around 6 countries are doing mandatory rice fortification. And wheat flour fortification, that is our next project. Our development partners and businesses are starting. That is 86 countries are now doing wheat flour fortification. And the USA is the first country they have introduced wheat flour fortification with folate, synthetic folate. They have the folate deficiency is very high. And folate deficiency actually create neural tube defect and hydrocephalus as a birth defect. So that's, I have already mentioned that we have salt and oil. These two are mandatory. And we are in vitamin A is only adding in oil, but we are considering to add vitamin D as well. So rice, it is six micronutrients. And wheat flour, government, BST has a standard with 10 micronutrients. But this standards were developed 25 years ago. So the situation has changed. Our nutritional status has been changed. So it is 10 micronutrient, but IPHN, Ministry of Public Health Nutrition, and under a technical advisory committee, they are revising they are examining the standard. And based on the current nutritional status, it may come into 3 or 4 micronutrients, particularly zinc, folate, and B12. This would be the fortificant will be added. So if just I'm not describing in details this is the journey of food fortification in the country. So as I have said that that is our salt fortification started in the country in 1990 after enacting a law, Iodine Deficiency Disorder Act 1989. So BISIC actually is BISIC under the Ministry of Industry is responsible for this monitoring of salt fortification. And then after 2011-12 micronutrient survey, first micronutrient survey revealed that our vitamin A deficiency is very high. And the Ministry of Health actually formed a technical advisory committee and decided to initiate edible oil fortification with vitamin A. So that law has been developed in 2013, and it has been mandated that all edible oil should be fortified with vitamin A. So after 1990, the Salt Act, and then it is revised into a new salt law. It passed in 2021, which mandated actually not only for human consumption, iodized salt should be used for all human plus animals, poultry, everything, and processed food is mandated. That now that new initiative that after starting that edible oil fortification, we found that our intention of vitamin A to the population, it is not that much reaching because the 65% of edible oil is consuming at bulk or loose, and loose oil does not contain vitamin A. It contained it originally, but due to different exposure, it lost the vitamin A. So that is a decision is coming in. So now I think my time is up, so I'll just go. I think that management will share this presentation with you. So this call to action that I'm sharing for the large scale food fortification, that has been adopted in last October in Nepal. That is the NINSA. There is a network, nutrition network for improved nutrition in South Asia. Again, Bangladesh is leading that NINSA. So in the NINSA and all the SAARC countries, we got together and just reviewed the fortification in the country, and we came to a resolution that this 11-point actually resolution has been taken in that NINSA declaration, you can say. So this 7-8 SAARC country is the main. I will not go through all the 11 action, but the main important is that make large-scale food fortification mandatory. Voluntary will not work because we have flour fortification for standard for like last 25 years, but nobody is doing flour fortification. So it should be mandatory, and the creating an enabling environment. So every player can play their due roles. That's the strength enabling environment, and update and align the standard and regulations that is clear, actionable, and aligned with global best practices. And oversight, strengthen oversight monitoring, and has the capacity of regulatory agency. We have the regulatory agency, they are very skilled, but they need capacity development. These are the few actually 11 point that we have agreed in the SAARC NINSA event. So these are we'll share this with you. And I think I should close it now, but I will request that actually I am seeing that a lot of business representatives are present here. So actually business play the pivotal role to make the food fortification actually reality, because we can develop standard regulation, monitoring everything. If business does not show interest in this food fortification, so it will not reach the targeted people. At the beginning, I have said that around 120 million people is suffering. So this is actually my that whatever I have said, discussed here. So it is just for you all to take action in respective field. So I also the food fortification. I also would like to thank IFC, the World Bank Group. Is actually your commitment that you that event that you are organizing on food fortification. So we have limited partners are working in Bangladesh. So IFC is here. So we would like to congratulate and welcome IFC. With this words, I would like to close. Thank you.
Dr. Mahfouz, thank you very much from IFC for your insightful presentation and for sharing with us the Bangladesh status on nutrition, as well as data on why large-scale food fortification is an efficient tool to combat malnutrition deficiency. And now let me pass the floor to Mr. Anup Jagwani, Global Manager for Agribusiness and Forestry at IFC. In this role, Anup leads the framing and implementation of the agribusiness and forestry sector strategy, including growing IFC's agribusiness and forestry portfolio and creating markets through new initiatives and products. Anup, it has become a tradition for me to invite you to the stage at international IFC forums, where the first one was in Uzbekistan, and you were focusing on the importance of food safety in the agenda of IFC. And now it is Bangladesh, and it is about food fortification. So please share your expectation about the forum and why IFC is so care about food fortification. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you, Katya. Good morning. You having a good morning? Yes? I enjoyed the presentation before this. I think the statistics and the message from Dr. Mahfouz was really interesting, I thought, right? Many private sector players here. And I was wondering what you thought about when he said it needs to be mandatory. I'm sure you're wondering about the challenges of implementing something like that, right? But clearly it's an important area that we know has substantial benefits. It's one of those things where you say it has such big impact, but it's not being done. You have a return of $1 invested can bring you anywhere from $25 to $30 invested for society as a whole. It's still not being done enough, right? So we know the challenges. We know it needs to be done. One solution is to make it mandatory. There's a cost to doing that. How do you actually go about doing that? So we as IFC are, of course, partners in that kind of a journey with many of our clients. We work with those companies to help implement some of these programs. I'll talk more about that later, but I'm jumping a little bit around because my team, who I want to thank for putting this together, had put a script for me to talk to, but I couldn't help but reflect on this conversation we are having this morning already, right? Which is fascinating for us to say, okay, we have these impacts. We've seen the journey that Bangladesh has been taking in this space. What is it that we can do more? And having this group of people, I'm excited about the conversation today to see what is it that we can do more? What is it that we can really come together on as public and private to do more? So thank you for all being here, first of all. We heard from Mahfouz, it's a global issue. We can change the world for good. It's healthy and safe, and we know it increases GDP, human health, nation building, importance of youth, right? We know the importance of these things. So I'm really honored to be here to have this discussion with you as part of leading the global agribusiness team in IFC. I have the privilege to witness many of these firsthand in different parts of the world, and again, Mr. Mahfouz talked about how it's a global problem, and you see this happening in different places. And this food fortification space is a kind of the low-hanging fruit when I look at it, right? We know about the many benefits, so I'm not going to go more into that, but it's the human capital part that's the most important, right? And from there, that's the core building block, whether it's for our personal lives, the nation's capital, or the GDP, as we tend to measure everything in return terms, right? It needs to go beyond, but in a personal life also is important, just to have that element. I think it should be tied to a happiness index rather than just the GDP index that we have in this space. So, but we know the gender disparities are also significant here. with young girls more likely to be underweight and stunted compared to boys. So I think that's an important piece that I'm looking forward to hearing more about today, and what we can do. This is a unique platform for discussing how food fortification support our efforts in this space. It's not just a technical intervention, it's a powerful tool to combat malnutrition and the micronutrient deficiency that we heard about today that affects vulnerable populations. The World Bank Group, we have different approaches. One of them is called the Global Challenge Program, where we bring the World Bank Group together, the different parts of the World Bank, the public sector, the private sector, to address some challenges. And the food and nutrition security is a key part of that, one of those programs. We have 6 of them in food and nutrition security. And a key pillar in that is addressing nutrition issues. So it remains core to our strategy. As IFC, of course, we try to bring in private sector solutions to this. And recognizing the importance, we launched the performance-based grant food fortification advisory program, where my colleague Natya leads, to increase the adoption of fortification by food processors. So we try to bring in soft capital in some of those instances where companies are willing to make the changes, implement plans, because at the end of the day, it's a cost as well to put in place some of these changes for the fortification. And we are willing to work with the companies to help them do that, and produce better outcomes from that food. I generally working more on the agribusiness side, we found that the nutrition value of the food produced has declined over time. And this is interesting because the soils are being depleted. So we have a problem at the production side where we've used synthetic fertilizers for a long time, and this depletion of the soils means there's less nutrition in the food. And that in itself needs to be now complemented with this this food fortification that we have as a tool to address some of the negative outcomes of the overall food production process. So our goal, of course, through this advisory program is to increase private sector investments in nutritious food production. And we're leveraging diverse financial instruments, including philanthropic capital. You heard from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation that's supporting us in this program. We as IFC provide extensive amount of financing to the private sector in the food and agribusiness space. Last year alone, we did about $3 billion just in, from the farm to fork, as we say, and includes inputs across over 40 projects. So we have a significant presence. We have a global view on not just the nutrition part, but how the food chain works, different aspects of the food supply chain. And I think this forum is an important opportunity for us to come together, share knowledge, collaborate on ideas and innovative solutions. So I'm excited to hear from our partners on this. And I would like to extend my gratitude again to the organizers and the participants for your commitment to this. Thank you very much, and I look forward to a productive discussion.